In one of the opulent halls filled with gold and exquisite furniture, a maid delicately applied makeup to a young girl. The girl was visibly upset, her hands trembled, and her eyes glistened with suppressed tears. In the adjacent hall, members of the wealthy elite gathered, men and women with greedy eyes engaging in discussions about the upcoming trade. They were preparing to select girls as if they were merchandise at a market. Meanwhile, the first girl was led to the center stage. Her eyes were filled with despair, and tears streamed down her cheeks. The hammer's loud strike signaled the start of the auction, and bids began to climb. But as she stood there, the girl broke down into sobs, whispering her longing to return home to her parents. Unsurprisingly, her pleas did not stop the auctioneers. As one girl begged for mercy, another stepped onto the stage. Unlike the first, this girl was resolute and cold. A fiery determination burned in her eyes as she scanned the room, observing the nobles reveling in others' suffering. Without hesitation, she drew a concealed blade and launched an attack against the perpetrators of this cruelty. In another part of the mansion, a girl disguised as a maid suddenly turned on the servants catering to the nobles. She moved swiftly and silently, leaving a trail of lifeless bodies in her wake. The realization of their peril dawned on the nobles, who frantically attempted to flee. At the same time, Dia and Tarte, wielding powerful magic, engaged in battle with the guards. Their coordinated attacks, imbued with strategy and elemental magic, were devastating. Fiery spells and icy blades turned the once grand hall into a battlefield. Lug and Matcha observed the chaos from a distance, waiting for the fleeing nobles to move into an open area. When they did, Lug began methodically eliminating his targets, each shot precise and deadly. He killed only those specifically marked for elimination by his organization. Matcha, visibly uneasy, betrayed her discomfort with Lug's cold efficiency. Suddenly, Lug noticed a drone circling above them. Realizing they had been spotted, he observed a border patrol force approaching from the horizon. Acting quickly, Lug devised a distraction. Using their vehicle, they created a trap. The team leapt from the car just as it exploded, drawing their enemy's attention. However, one of the girls was injured during the operation, prompting Lug to tend to her wounds with his impressive medical skills. They decided to continue traveling during daylight despite the risks. At a resting point, one of the girls asked Lug why he had chosen the path of an assassin. His response was cold and matter-of-fact. He took pride in his skills, serving a cause. However, he admitted that he had once grown weary of the work and left the organization to train young assassins instead. Lug then revealed that he had used the girl for the mission and intended to kill her, as professional assassins trust no one. Devastated, the girl pointed a gun at him, but Lug calmly noted that the gun was empty. The following morning, Lug completed the mission successfully. He was given forged passports and plane tickets to leave the country. As the plane took off, he felt a fleeting sense of relief, believing it was all over. But the situation took a sudden and drastic turn. The plane was hijacked. Entering the cockpit, Lug found the pilots dead. Moments later, a fighter jet appeared in the sky and mercilessly shot the plane down. Lug was left stunned, realizing his organization had betrayed him despite his loyalty. When Lug regained consciousness, he found himself in a mysterious place. Sitting before him was a young woman who introduced herself as a goddess. She explained that she had summoned his soul and presented him with a choice: to die permanently or to be reincarnated in another world with his knowledge intact. The goddess informed him that his new mission in this world would be to assassinate the hero. Lug sits down at a table with the mysterious goddess, who offers him tea and explains why it would be foolish to refuse her proposal. She tells him he will be reincarnated in another world with a crucial mission: to kill the hero. Lug, still processing his emotions, agrees to the task, noting that his feelings have returned after his death. He admits he had trusted the organization he once worked for, but they betrayed him. If given a second chance, he vows to live for himself. The goddess elaborates on the world where he will be reborn. It's a place filled with magic and diverse people. When Lug asks why the hero must be killed, the goddess explains that after defeating the forces of evil, the hero will lose control and plunge the world into chaos. She emphasizes that while the hero is incredibly powerful, Lug will have the tools to complete his mission. To prepare him, the goddess offers Lug 5 abilities of his choice. Although she notes that there are limitations, she explains that only the hero can defeat the Dark Lord, and Lug's task is to kill the hero after the evil is vanquished. Her goal is not to kill the hero out of spite, but to preserve the world's balance. Lug selects his abilities carefully, understanding their importance. First, he chooses Rapid Recovery, which allows him to heal quickly. His second choice is Spell Creation, giving him the ability to craft unique spells. Third, he selects Enhanced Growth, accelerating his skill development. Fourth, he opts for Combat Arts, ensuring he can excel in physical combat. For his final skill, he chooses Elemental Affinity, allowing him to wield all 4 elemental magics: fire, water, earth, and air. The goddess is surprised by his unconventional choices and warns him that these abilities alone may not be enough to defeat the hero. The goddess reincarnates Lug as an infant. Born into a noble family, his father names him Lug Tuatha Dé and declares he will train him as an assassin. As Lug grows up, he begins his training under his father. 7 years pass, and Lug is already hunting small prey like rabbits. After a successful hunt, he decides to cook the rabbit himself, insisting on preparing food that meets his body's nutritional needs. He makes a delicious stew that amazes his parents. Lug reflects on how he now has a loving family, a stark contrast to his previous life. After dinner, Lug's father takes him to the training room and asks him to strip to assess his physical development. This examination is crucial for tailoring Lug's training regimen to his body's needs. His father begins teaching him techniques in medicine and assassination, noting Lug's exceptional growth and rapid recovery. He also mentions that one day, Lug will inherit his magic eyes, which can perceive anything within their range. The day of the operation arrives, and Lug successfully inherits the eyes. Afterward, his mother feeds him as he recovers, and his father examines the results. When Lug opens his eyes, he is astounded by his enhanced vision, seeing the world in incredible detail, even at great distances. His father promises to teach him how to perform the operation himself someday. Later, Lug's father informs him that he has found a teacher to instruct him in magic. His mother enthusiastically dresses in a feminine outfit, insisting that it was made for him and he should wear it. Despite his embarrassment, Lug agrees. The new teacher, Dia Viacone, arrives at their home and is surprised by how young Lug is. Despite her initial doubts, she demonstrates her magic, showcasing her skill and setting the stage for his magical training. Dia and Lug formally introduce themselves to each other again. Dia, who will be teaching Lug magic, begins by giving him a mana storage stone and instructs him to pour all his mana into it. When Lug complies, the sheer amount of mana he channels overwhelms the stone, leaving Dia shocked. She tells him to throw the stone far away. Lug tosses it, and the stone explodes, shattering nearby windows. The noise brings Lug's parents rushing in. Instead of scolding him, they are thrilled by his display of magical power. Lug expresses interest in obtaining more mana stones like the one he used, but Dia explains that they are rare family heirlooms. That night, as they lie in bed together, Dia playfully compares herself to an older sister to Lug. Meanwhile, Lug begins contemplating ways to acquire similar stones for his ultimate mission to kill the hero. The following morning, Dia tests Lug's elemental affinities. To her surprise, Lug demonstrates an affinity for all 4 primary elements, while Dia herself is only attuned to 2. She explains the importance of a mage's first magical experience and instructs Lug to connect with his elements and feel the flow of magic. When Lug successfully casts his first spell, he notices strange symbols in his mind and realizes he has learned a new spell through intuition. Dia then demonstrates a spell for creating copper and asks Lug to replicate it. He manages to do so effortlessly, leaving Dia amazed at how quickly he learns. Later that evening, Lug spends his time writing down new spells and improving his magical knowledge. Dia remarks how remarkable it is that someone younger than her knows so much and learns so rapidly. Lug notices similarities in the structure of all spells and requests that Dia write down every spell she knows. Together, they analyze the spells and uncover the underlying principles of magic. When Dia tries to create gold, she initially fails. However, after Lug modifies the spell and explains it, she succeeds. Excited by their progress, they begin experimenting with crafting new spells. Lug uses magic to create a weapon that fires projectiles, testing it by shooting at an island in the distance. The shot completely destroys the island, though the weapon itself breaks from the string. Dia replicates the process and successfully fires her own magical bullets. As their 2 weeks of training come to an end, Dia hugs Lug and wistfully says she wishes their time together could last forever. To show his gratitude, Lug creates a titanium dagger for Dia and presents it to her as a gift. Dia, touched by his gesture, thanks him for teaching her as much as she taught him. In return, she gives him a damaged mana stone from her family and asks for one favor: to visit her whenever she requests. The next day, Lug's parents see Dia off as she departs. Afterward, Lug's father, Kian Tuatha Day, decides to reveal the harsh truths of their family's assassin lineage. He questions Lug about his understanding of healing techniques and killing methods before leading him to a prison to perform his first assassination. Lug questions why his emotions weren't suppressed from a young age to make killing easier. His father explains that it's important for Lug to learn to kill by choice, not as a machine. Kian assigns Lug his first target, a woman who robbed a home, killed its residents, and burned it to the ground. Lug confronts the woman, who becomes enraged and hurls insults at him. Unfazed, Lug swiftly cuts off her arm, incapacitating her. Despite her fury, Lug remains calm and finishes the job without hesitation, successfully completing his first assassination. In the dense forest, a young girl wandered alone, her heart heavy with the realization that she had been abandoned. Born an unwanted child, she had no family to care for her. Suddenly, a pack of wolves emerged from the shadows, circling her, hungry for their next meal. Meanwhile, in the bustling city, Lug strolled through the market with his parents, examining various goods and observing the city's layout. His analytical mind took note of how the economy functioned and the types of items being traded. However, his primary focus was searching for potential allies who could assist him in his ultimate goal, assassinating the hero. While shopping, Lug was treated to some cookies, which he enjoyed as he pondered how rare it was to find individuals with significant mana reserves, as they were often nobles. Later, Lug ventured into the forest to hunt. Snow began to fall, blanketing the landscape. Among the trees, he spotted the pack of wolves attacking a young girl. He managed to kill one wolf, but the danger was far from over. Lug intervened, asking if the girl was was unharmed. Without hesitation, he conjured his dagger and swiftly dispatched the remaining wolves with precision and efficiency. Turning his attention to the girl, Lu questioned her about her situation. She revealed that she came from a poor family and was considered a burden. Deciding to help her, Lu prepared some porridge and instructed her to eat it slowly, setting this as a condition for his assistance. The girl complied, demonstrating her self-discipline. Luke explained to her that she was heading toward the Tuatha Dé estate, and he introduced himself as the son of the family. He offered her a proposition to join him under the condition that she keeps his secrets and agrees to take part in his dangerous missions, which included killing people. Surprisingly, the girl accepted. Lug noticed her significant mana reserves, suspecting that the goddess might have sent her to him deliberately. He carefully crafted his actions to gain her trust. Meanwhile, the goddess observed her previous summons, individuals she had reincarnated to fight evil in the past. One of them, a former Special Forces soldier, had squandered his potential and turned into a slacker. She reflected on the choices she had made and the challenges of her mission. The next morning, Lu woke up late, and Tart, now acting as his servant, teased him about it. Lug admitted he was exhausted from training and mentioned he had dreamed of the day they first met. He complimented her beauty, flustering her with his unexpected remark. Tart busied herself with her duties, earning gratitude from Lug's parents. Cian Tuatha Dé, Lug's father, praised his son's decision to bring the girl into their household. The girl, deeply moved, expressed her gratitude and promised to serve the Tuatha Dé family faithfully. Lug's parents hoped she would continue to care for their son. Lug later invited the girl to the training room, where he asked her to disrobe so he could assess her physique and growth. Though hesitant, she complied. Lug instructed her to demonstrate various stances, observing her movements to determine her potential. He remembered his father's stern conditions. If the girl betrayed them, Lug would have to kill her, but in the meantime, he was to train her thoroughly. He then asked her to attack him. Despite her effort, she was defeated easily. Lug reassured her, encouraging her to keep training. He quickly noticed her natural talent for using a spear. During their nightly training sessions, however, it became clear that she struggled with knife combat. Recognizing her potential with the spear, Lu crafted a collapsible spear for her. When she tested it, she effortlessly destroyed all the training dummies, showcasing her newfound skill. The following morning, Tart woke Lu and joined him for their daily routine. Lu commended her for her dedication to her training, reinforcing their bond as they continued their journey together, the goddess summoning another candidate for her mission, a samurai tasked with killing the hero. She watches as the samurai begins his journey, but to her dismay, he is quickly defeated by ordinary magic. Disappointed, the goddess continues her search for a suitable champion. Meanwhile, Lu and Tart are walking through the city. They visit a bow merchant who thanks Lu for providing fertilizers that have improved his crops. Another woman also expresses gratitude for Luke's help with the harvest. Later, as they ride a wagon loaded with supplies, Luke reflects on the importance of earning the trust and admiration of the common people. Tart comments on how nobles have historically created a deep divide between themselves and the populace. Luke reassures her that she is important to him and that he values their bond. That evening, Luke experiments with creating magical stones, imbuing them with mana. He realizes their potential as powerful weapons for his missions. Shortly after, Tart informs him that his father has requested his presence in the training room. In the training room, Luke's father, Cian Tuatha Dé, questions him about Tart. Luke insists that she is loyal and pure-hearted, and he sees their meeting as nothing short of a miracle. Cian acknowledges this, but tells Luke that he must pass one final test before he can officially take assassination contracts. Lug agrees without hesitation. The test is a duel against Cian himself. Lug ventures into the forest, knowing this will be a battle between two expert assassins. As the duel begins, Cian uses a bow to attack from a distance, forcing Luke to identify and close in on his target. Lug manages to strike, but his father dodges effortlessly and counters by breaking Lug's leg. Realizing he's being outmaneuvered, Lug spots a trap just before his father attacks again. Lug quickly adjusts his strategy. He stops trying to predict Cian's movements, knowing it only leads to mistakes, and instead focuses entirely on reacting in the moment. This shift allows Luke to dodge incoming attacks and counter effectively. Finally, he throws two daggers to distract Cian and uses his shoulder to absorb a blow, creating an opening to land a decisive strike. Cian concedes defeat, heals Lug's wounds, and proudly declares that his son has mastered all he can teach. She reminds Lug that further growth will come only through experience. The episode shifts to a series of assassinations. One noble is killed while counting money, another poisoned, and others eliminated in various ways. Cian aids his son in planning these kills, demonstrating the precision and skill required for their craft. Cian then reveals Lug's next mission, to infiltrate a massive castle disguised as a merchant and assassinate a noble. To prepare, Cian explains that he forged a merchant lineage for Lug at his birth, and now Lug must master the art of trade. The townspeople celebrate Cian's approval of Lug, proud of his accomplishments. However, one man among them is jealous and believes he deserves Lu's position. He confronts Lu, calling him small and weak. Lug swiftly moves behind him, forcing the man to acknowledge defeat. However, when the man tries to attack him from behind, Lu counters and breaks his arm, solidifying his dominance. Cian observes the exchange and confidently declares that Lug is ready. Later, Lug meets another man, Ranoha, who is impressed to hear that Lug bested his father in combat. Lug offers Ranoha a position as a knight in the Tuatha Dé household and gifts him a sword. Ranoha accepts, vowing to become the greatest knight by the time Lug returns. As the wagon is prepared for their next journey, Tarde promises to continue caring for Lug. Before they leave, Lu instructs her to address him by a different name when they are in the city, ensuring their identities remain protected. Lug and Tart in disguise. Tart dresses as a servant, while Lug conceals his noble lineage by hiding his hair. Meanwhile, a young girl approaches a passerby, offering to show him around the city. Secretly, she signals another child to collect money from her, part of a scheme organized by a street-smart orphaned Maha. As rain begins to fall, Maha gathers her group of children to count their earnings for the day. They realize that the downpour has limited their profits, leaving them with far less than they hoped. Maha, whose parents were merchants, reassures them with her experience and takes charge, motivating them to keep working toward their dream of buying a home and living together. Suddenly, a group of bandits ambushes the children. Maha bravely fights back, knocking some of the attackers down, but the children are ultimately captured one by one. They are transported in cages to an orphanage run by a man who seems welcoming, but harbors sinister intentions. One resists, voicing his distrust, but he is struck across the face to silence him. At the orphanage, the children are gathered and quickly realize they are being treated as commodities to be sold. Given meager and poor quality food, they make the best of it by cooking together. Under constant supervision, they work tirelessly, trying to endure. However, one day a guard grows angry at a girl for working too slowly and strikes her. A wealthy buyer arrives, inspecting the merchandise to make a selection. He pays for one of the girls and she is taken away. Later that night, two girls are forced to strip, washed with cold water, and dressed up to be prepared for sale. One of them is returned to the orphanage in tears. Maha finds her and tries to comfort her, but the girl begs Maha not to look at her. This cycle repeats as more girls are taken away, each returning in despair. One of the girls decides to disfigure her face to make herself less desirable to buyers. As Maha overhears a conversation between the orphanage director and his associates, she learns they plan to sell her virginity. Overwhelmed, she runs away in tears, feeling utterly helpless. The scene shifts to Lug, who arrives at the orphanage. He observes the girls and is told he can choose one to become his assistant. Lug selects Maha, acknowledging her intelligence and resilience. When the orphanage director demands an exorbitant price for her, Lug calmly states that the deal is already concluded. Maha now belongs to the Tuatha Dé household. He insists that she be prepared and tells the director he will return for her in 3 days. As Maha is being bathed, another girl expresses envy, thinking Maha is fortunate to escape their grim fate. Maha, however, is suspicious and fears Lug's intention. On the day of her departure, Maha is placed in a carriage with the orphanage owner. He tells her that her virginity fetched a high price and that he plans to enjoy the next 2 days with her before delivering her to her buyer. Terrified, Maha uses her abilities to escape the carriage, but the owner and his men give chase. Despite her pleas, they refuse to let her go. Just as Maha is cornered, Lug appears. He intervenes, swiftly defeating one of the attackers and intimidating the others. The orphanage owner orders his men to kill Lug, but he effortlessly dispatches them, showing his lethal precision. Meanwhile, the local authorities arrive and arrest the orphanage owner and his accomplices for human trafficking. Back at the orphanage, the girl who disfigured her face looks in the mirror and is shocked to find her scars gone, a sign of the healing magic Lug employed during his intervention. Lug offers Maha a place by his side, promising her a life of purpose and dignity. With tears of relief and hope, Maha accepts his offer, agreeing to join him on his journey. Lug visiting a man he had recently performed surgery on. The man expresses deep gratitude for saving his life and promises to keep everything confidential. In response, Lu asks him to become his ally and relative, strengthening their bond for future endeavors. Later, Lu officially declares that Maha will be his sister, formalizing their relationship to ease future dealings. Together with Baylor Beamnesh, Lug discusses plans for managing a new store. Baylor suggests entrusting the shop entirely to Lug, so he can develop it according to his vision. When Lug returns home, Maha and Tart greet him with a homemade dinner. During the meal, he shares his plans for managing the new store, emphasizing cosmetics as a key product, specifically skincare solutions to attract aristocratic women. Lug introduces his first product, a moisturizing cream that, as he claims, improves skin condition. One of the potential customers decides to try the cream on the spot and immediately notices an improvement. She admits she came to the shop intending to mock Lug, but leaves impressed with his product. Encouraged by her reaction, Lu explains to Baylor that the cream's main ingredients are water, oil, and a secret component from the Tuatha Dé family. He insists on keeping the formula confidential. Baylor agrees to allocate resources for large-scale production. The shop opens, and the saleswomen, many of whom were recruited by Maha, begin selling the products. Maha helps one of the girls apply makeup, demonstrating how to use the skincare product effectively. Lug observes that business is flourishing and realizes the shop's potential as a way to infiltrate high society. Tart notes that many of the saleswomen are friends of Maha, which helps strengthen the team's cohesion. Lug discusses security measures with Tart. She reports that people frequently try to infiltrate the shop to steal the formula. Lug anticipates that that this will eventually lead to an attack. Soon, he notices a suspicious individual sneaking around the premises. Without hesitation, Tart pierces the wall with her weapon, knocking the intruder unconscious. Maha arrives to report the capture. Lug is impressed by how coordinated and perceptive the girls are in handling threats. The captured intruder is restrained and interrogated to uncover who sent him. Meanwhile, the goddess observes one of the summoned heroes and is disappointed to find that he has become a cowardly and useless individual. Lug decides to give the girls a day off, allowing them to relax. They enjoy their free time cooking together and having fun. Lug visits Dia to continue his magic studies. She demonstrates a gravity spell she has developed, impressing Lug with her progress. As a gesture of appreciation, he offers Dia some candies, which she thoroughly enjoys. The two spend a peaceful evening experimenting with magical techniques. Later, Lug returns home. Before going to bed, the girls join him to share the night's rest. However, they notice a strange smell coming from Lug. He explains that it's a common occurrence for teenagers due to hormonal changes. Tart and Maha offer their assistance in addressing the issue, flustering Lug with their bold suggestion. Meanwhile, Lu enjoys a quiet moment drinking tea when Tart approaches him. She presents him with a small pouch containing buttons taken from the clothes of those whose hearts she pierced during their missions. Tart blushes as she shares that people have praised her as an exceptional warrior. Lug commends her and reflects on how much his efforts have grown. A network of alliances, a thriving business, and loyal ally. Lug informs Maha that she will need to take full responsibility for operations in the city when he leaves. Maha expresses her desire to open another shop, specifically a store that had to close due to financial issues. Lug realizes this shop once belonged to Maha's parents and acknowledges her determination to restore their legacy. To show their appreciation, Tart and Maha gift Lug a rare herbal tea. Maha also takes care to dry his hair as she prepares to see him off. Lug, now traveling under his real name, entrusts Maha with managing the existing store and any new ventures. She gives him a heartfelt parting gift and admits that at first she doubted his intentions, fearing he would exploit her for dark purposes. However, Lug promises to visit her, and Maha vows to dedicate her life to supporting him. On their journey back, Lug asks Tart if she will miss Maha. Tart candidly replies that Maha is in love with him. Along the way, a pack of beasts ambushes them. Tart insists on handling the fight alone and skillfully dispatches the creatures. Lug praises her efforts and reflects on how reliable she has become. He also acknowledges that the time is drawing near for the hero to appear, intensifying the weight of his mission. When Lu finally returns to the Tuatha Dé estate, he is warmly greeted by the villagers, who offer him supplies as tokens of gratitude. His mother, Esri, joyfully welcomes him home and expresses her thanks to Tart for taking care of Lu during his travels. Esri asks Tarte to continue watching over her son, recognizing her loyalty and dedication. Lug then visits his father, Kian, in his study. Kian congratulates him, stating that Lug has truly become a man. He reflects on Lug's growth, admitting that his rigorous training was meant to prepare Lu for the choice to walk away from the assassin's life if he desired. But Lug firmly declares that he has chosen to continue as an assassin. Kian counters, reminding Lug that he has yet to take a life purely out of necessity, having only executed those already condemned. He warns Lug of the dangers. If their true activities are exposed, their entire family will face death. Kian offers him an alternative life as a merchant, but Lug rejects it, asserting his commitment to protect the Tuatha Dé lands and ensure the happiness of its people. He emphasizes that he will kill only on his own terms, guided by his principles. Lu also confesses his desire to marry Dia and sees his role as an assassin as a way to uphold his status and protect what he values. Impressed by Lug's resolve, Kian gives him his first official assassination assignment. Lug confidently vows to execute the mission flawlessly. Lug reflecting on his principles before committing to an assassination. He always ensures that his targets are truly deserving of death. The morning begins with Lu visiting his mother, Esri, who fondly recalls the early days of Lu's life before his awakening as an assassin. Tart interrupts, announcing that breakfast is ready. As Lu dresses for the day, his mother suggests the idea of an arranged marriage, but Lug firmly declines. Playfully, Esri teases by proposing Tart as a potential bride, leaving the girl blushing and flustered. That night, Lug and Tarte set out on a reconnaissance mission. Meanwhile, the goddess summons another soul into the world, but this individual, despite their intent to eliminate the hero, fails in there. In town, Lu encounters a young woman offering them jam to sample. Observing its effects, he quickly realizes it contains narcotics. Soon after, mercenaries attempt to attack them. The woman leads Lu to her mother, who is in a frenzied state, addicted to the drug. Lug subdues the woman and informs her that her body no longer physically craves the narcotics, though her mind may take low. Upon returning home, Lug finds a carriage delivering goods from the city of Orna. Maha updates him on the situation with a local noble, Count Viacona, through her written reports. Lug decides to investigate further, and Maha eagerly volunteers to accompany him. On the journey, she confesses how much she has missed him, adding that hearing rumors of Lu visiting brothels in the city left her feeling disheartened. She admits that, while jealousy hurts, indifference would have been even worse. Lug assures her he will reconsider how his actions might affect her. She also mentions that two other girls girls are clearly in love with him, complicating her feelings further. Upon arriving in the city, they are greeted by a noblewoman who warmly welcomes them. Lug announces that they have brought a new product for her to try. She eagerly tests it, and Lug notes that her beauty makes her an ideal choice for advertising their merchandise. Moments later, her husband, Count Viacone, enters the room. Lug immediately recognizes the Count as his assassination target. The man is courteous, remarking that his wife had been eagerly anticipating their visit. Later that evening, during a banquet with other nobles, the conversation centers on the popularity of Lug's new product. Lug seizes the opportunity to probe Count Viacone about his business ventures and plans for the future. The Count seems unaware of Lug's ulterior motives. A few days later, Lug observes the Count's routine and discovers that he enjoys wine on his balcony every evening before retiring to bed. Using this knowledge, Lug crafts a specialized weapon to carry out his mission. As the Count steps onto the balcony, Lug takes his shot with precision, killing him instantly with a headshot. After completing his mission, Lug notices the Count's wife rushing to her husband's side, distraught and grieving. The sight momentarily stirs doubt within Lug, but Tart reassures him, offering comfort. Lug steels himself, reaffirming his resolve. While he feels no regret for the assassination, he acknowledges the weight of his action. Lug and Tarte sailing on a boat powered by wind magic. Tarte remarks how much she enjoyed their time on the uninhabited island, appreciating the simplicity of life there. As they approach the shore, they spot Maha waiting for them. She inquires about Lug's vacation and is pleased to hear his gratitude for her efforts in planning the trip. Maha updates Lug on recent developments, including a treasure she discovered, a magical spear with the potential to make its wielder a hero. She also mentions a neighboring kingdom embroiled in a civil war, a conflict that could have far-reaching consequences. Later, Lug visits Dia, who is delighted to see him. Concerned for her safety, he asks how she is managing amidst the war. Dia reassures him that her family and territory are secure for now. Lug offers to help her escape the city using his connections, but Dia declines, insisting she must defend her nation and its position. To relax, Dia disguises herself by dyeing her hair, and the two venture into the city. Lug remains on edge, worried about her safety, but Dia calms his nerves. They stop for a snack at a street vendor, where Lug notices a suspicious merchant, raising concerns about the presence of powerful warriors in the area. Dia dismisses his worries and drags him to a shop where she challenges him to win a toy for her. She insists he refrain from using magic, so Lug cleverly rigs the game to ensure Dia wins the prize herself. After missing twice, she lands the third shot, happily claiming her toy. As they continue their outing, Dia mentions her craving for lasagna, teasing Lug about his cooking skills. He promises to prepare her a feast, including lasagna, the next time she visits his estate. Meanwhile, the goddess summons another reincarnated soul, this time choosing someone to become the best teacher and help guide the hero. She reflects on her relentless efforts to prevent the destruction of the world. Later, Lug and Dia share a meal at a local restaurant. Dia comments on how delicious the food is, but notes that Lug's cooking is even better. Their conversation is light and filled with warmth. On their way home, they encounter a young boy crying because he has lost his mother. Using the toy they won earlier, Lug distracts the boy and learns more about the situation. Dia uses magic to locate the boy's mother, and together they reunite the family. Lug explains that he wanted their outing to end on a heartwarming note. Dia then leads Lug to a hot spring, where she surprises him by undressing without hesitation. Lug realizes that Dia is completely unashamed of her nudity. She pulls him into the water, where they splash each other playfully. At one point, Dia slips, and Lug catches her. He takes the opportunity to teach her some swimming techniques, cautioning against overexertion in the water. As their time together winds down, Dia reaffirms her commitment to protecting her city, even at great personal risk. Before parting, they share an intimate moment, diving underwater, where Lu kisses Dia tenderly. Back on the bridge leading out of the city, Dia bids Lu farewell, informing him that she will be occupied with the ongoing conflict, and they might not see each other until it is resolved. Disguised soldiers posing as city guards escort her back. With a heavy heart, Lug watches her leave, vowing to protect her and support her from afar. Lug returning to his family's estate. There, he notices an injured guest whom his father identifies as their client. To Lug's shock, his father reveals that the assassination target is none other than Dia. Lug is stunned, but listens carefully as his father explains the situation. Lug's father clarifies that this mission is not mandatory, and that he can decline it. However, Lug insists on understanding why Dia's death has been ordered. His father explains that Dia's prominence has drawn the attention of powerful nobles, and her family has been confined to their castle as a result of the escalating civil war. Furthermore, Dia's own father has made the request for her assassination to end the conflict. If Lu refuses, his father would have to carry out the mission himself, but there would not be enough time to do so successfully. Resolute, Lug accepts the mission, albeit with a heavy heart. His father reflects on his own life, admitting that he once abandoned his assassin's values to marry Lug's mother. He reveals that Dia is Lug's cousin, adding further complexity to the situation. Lug acknowledges that Dia cannot simply escape with him, as she lacks the strength to endure such a journey. Despite this, Dia insists on meeting Lu halfway, determined to run with him as far as she can, accompanied by Tart, who uses her windshield magic to aid their journey. They make their way toward Dia's location. Tart becomes visibly exhausted but pushes through, driven by her devotion to Lug. She reflects on her role, feeling both used and genuinely happy to help him. However, her magic eventually collapses, and Lug catches her as she falls. Tart pleads with him to return with tears streaming down her face, but Lug continues onward alone, leaving Tart behind. Meanwhile, Lug's mother anxiously awaits news of her son. The goddess, ever watchful, intervenes once more to ensure the world's balance, finding another soul capable of countering the hero's eventual rise. When Lug finally reaches the battlefield, he observes the overwhelming strength of the enemy forces. Determined not to take lives unnecessarily, he devises a plan to fake Dia's death. Methodically, Lug eliminates guards one by one, noting that Dia has been aiding her troops by providing them with superior weapons. As the battle intensifies, Lug unleashes his full arsenal of magic. Using a magical stone to create a barrage of devastating attacks, he swiftly takes down the enemy soldiers. Listening carefully with enhanced hearing magic, Lug pinpoints Dia's location within the castle. He infiltrates her room, bringing with him the body of another woman, intending to use it as a decoy to simulate Dia's death. When Lug and Dia finally reunite, Dia is overjoyed to see him, her face lighting up with relief. However, Lug knows the true weight of the mission still lies ahead. Goddess summoning another soul, capable of countering the hero. Meanwhile, Dia embraces Lug, relieved by his arrival. Her father also expresses his gratitude, entrusting Dia's fate to Lug. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Lug devises a plan to make it appear as though Dia committed suicide, thereby removing her as a target and ending the conflict. Lug instructs Dia to shout a specific phrase out of the window. She complies, trusting his plan. As Lug opens the window, he senses an imminent attack. Before he can fully defend against it, a powerful adversary with a mana-infused spear strikes. Lug quickly recognizes the attacker's overwhelming magical energy. This berserker introduces himself, taunting Lug and proposing a one-on-one duel. Lug recalls Matcha's warning that the wielder of the legendary spear is likely the hero. While Lug prepares for the battle, Dia's father observes the berserker's unmatched power. Realizing the stakes, Lug informs Dia and her father that he needs their assistance to create an opportunity for victory. His parents, worried about him, await news of his safety back at the Tuatha Dé estate. Before engaging the berserker, Lug acknowledges the odds against him. He predicts that the duel will last only a minute and admits that, under normal circumstances, he would lose. However, he's determined to use every skill and strategy at his disposal. Introducing himself with a pseudonym, Lug engages in the duel. He notices the berserker's uncanny regenerative ability, with wounds healing almost instantly. Lug calmly declares that his opponent will not survive this battle. To protect the nearby soldiers and civilians, Lug orders the battlefield cleared. He meticulously prepares his magic, crafting a weapon of devastating power. Using Dia's magic as a foundation, Lug conjures a space-based attack, effectively launching a missile from orbit. He tosses a coin into the air, signaling the start of the duel, and unleashes his weapon on the berserker. The impact is catastrophic, annihilating his opponent in mere seconds. Despite his wounds, Lug confirms the berserker's defeat. Dia rushes to his side, embracing him with tears of relief. Lug reassures her, stating that he returned to her as promised. He kisses Dia, acknowledging his feelings for her. Reflecting on the events, Lug realizes that, for the first time in his life, he has failed an assassination mission, choosing to protect Dia instead. With the conflict resolved, Lug escorts Dia back to the Tuatha Dé estate. Upon their arrival, they are warmly welcomed by his parents. Matcha reads Lug's letters with a mix of pride and longing. Life at the estate resumes its rhythm, with Lug continuing to refine his magic and strategies, preparing for the challenges that lie ahead.